Hi guys, today I'm showing you how to make this little guy. I'm gonna show how to make the base, and then I wanted to show an extra like accessory kind of that you can do for them. So I made a little clown one. You can change it up completely. I just wanted to give you guys an example of how you can add stuff to it. Yeah, I made this pattern myself and I really wanted to show you guys. I think it is so cute. I love that. And you get to see how I made everything. If you guys want more tutorials, I am totally up to doing that. The pattern is going to be in the description, so you're going to have to download that and then print it out. But I think this makes like the cutest desk buddy. I'm thinking about just making myself one because I love them so much. But yeah, check it out. Keep watching if you want to see how to do the whole outfit. But yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, here's everything that I use, starting off with the hot glue gun, which is disgusting, and the pattern, which you can find in my description, all cut up. Then some scissors, try to get them extra sharp, and then some thread. I used the black for the beads, and then the rest of the colors are for the felt. This is for a more realistic colored rat, I guess. And then some needles and some pins. And for this I used a smaller needle because it is a smaller plush. And then here are the beads. I use the smallest beads possible. Don't really know what size they are. It says on the packaging, but I don't have them with me right now. And then I get stuffing, which can be from like old plushies you have if you don't have them, and then beads, poly pellets. Okay, this is going so fast. So I have all of this stuff for the extra clown part. You don't need any of these unless you want to add like the clown hat. And I ended up not using the stars, but you could literally do anything. You could use buttons. You can switch out the ribbon for a different one. You could just change it up however you want. And then extra felt for this. I messed up filming this. Oh, you can hear Chappie. So I'm just using white to show you guys how to pin it in. Just cut it out. Pretty simple. Not much to it. Just try to get as clean as you can. And these are all the pieces that you should have. Some of them are just the opposite sides of the original pattern, like the arms and the base and the tail. The ears don't matter so much. You can kind of do whatever because they're symmetrical. But yeah. And here I am cutting out the toes. I didn't want to include this in the pattern because it's kind of small and would just be harder to do if there was a pattern for it. Pretty simple, just try to get them. If you want them to look sharper, actually, you can just not get them as round. I like to give them a rounded like toe look. And this is me showing how to thread a needle. I taught myself everything, so if someone who's experienced looks at this, they might think that I'm doing it wrong. But this is just how I taught myself. And I want to get a long piece of thread just because I don't like rethreading my needle over and over and over again. Which can actually, if you do this, it might not, which I know how to deal with. But yeah, just be careful of that. Try not to get the thread all twisted, and yeah. And we are ready to pin and sew. So I like to start off with the body, pinning the belly onto the base. I don't normally pin it, but I just want to show you guys how I would pin it. And I kind of sew this a bit differently, but I'm trying to show the easiest way to do it. And we're ready to actually sew. So you pull it through one side and then you do the same exact thing on the other. And I'm trying to go as slow as possible to just give you guys an idea of how to do it, and you can just watch and pause when you need to if you've never sewn before. This is a blanket stitch. That's what I do for most of mine. I'm gonna loop it through. Oh, I'm focusing. Okay, looping it through and then pulling it. And then I accidentally pick up some of the felt pieces. Okay, and then once you pull it through, you're gonna kind of repeat the process, but this time you're just gonna push it all the way through and then loop it and then pull. And you're just gonna want to repeat that over and over and over again until you reach where you need to go. And once you get all the way there, I like to not rethread my needle, so I just try to use as much as possible. I'm gonna like loop it around and then keep it right there, so when I pin the back piece on, I could just start over again but at the bottom. And I just like doing this again because rethreading is just annoying to me. I feel like this is the easiest way without also just knotting it, and just, yeah, I just don't like doing it. So here's me doing the same thing but to the opposite side. And once you get to the end, this part is a little different. You take it to the back of it and then you pull it through the middle piece of felt, and then you do the same thing though. You just pull it through and loop it, and then you keep going until you hit the nose. Once you get here, you're going to get the other piece of felt and you're going to hold it in place. You can pin it, but you kind of have to round it off, so it's a little weird. I just hold it, and then you're going to do the same thing where you just pull the needle through and loop it, and you're just going to do that till you hit the back of the piece. And once you hit the back, you're going to do a similar thing that you did to the body, and you're gonna push it through the nose. Actually, this is gonna be all hidden, so if you're a little bit sloppy with it, that's fine. I like to hide my stitches near here since no one's gonna see it, and you're just gonna repeat the process, except you can go a lot further down now because we're getting close to the bottom. And once you get here, This is kind of optional. I like to stuff the head a bit early because sometimes when I finish the whole body, it's hard to get into the smaller places like the muzzle, and so I just do this step a bit early. I didn't show this in the materials needed, but a pen, chopsticks, or a paintbrush is perfect for just pushing the stuffing in and getting it in the right places. And this kind of depends on what you prefer, but I like mine to be very firm, and so I put as much stuffing as possible in. This is how firm I like it. I just think it looks a lot more smooth. And you're just gonna go all the way down. And once you get here, I'm hiding the knot to close the thread right here because it's gonna be hidden by the tail. And you're just gonna loop it. And then multiple times so it gets as knotted as possible, and then I do it one more time just to make sure it's secure, and then I just pull it out and then I cut it. Now we're going to sew the bottom, so we're going to pin the feet into place so that it's a lot easier than just doing it freehand. Just pinning both of them. It kind of gets in the way, so you can just adjust the pins to how you like them. I wish I had shorter pins for this because it is a bit annoying. And now we grab the bottom piece and we push the needle through. And then we're going to hold it against the pattern and then pull it through the back piece. I like to keep it attached to one of the pieces of thread instead of felt, which you can kind of see. Again, the tail is going to be mostly blocking this, so if it's messy, it doesn't really matter. And looping it, pulling it through, and then you're just going to do the same thing over again where you just pull, loop, until you hit the feet. This part is a little different. You're going to pull it through to one piece of felt, like diagonally, and then you're going to pull it through the feet and into the other piece of felt, so you're sandwiching it, which I am going to show you, but it's a little off screen. Okay. And then you're just going to pull it through. You're not going to loop it or anything like that, and then you're going to do the same thing diagonally, pull it and pull it again, and then you go back to looping once you're done and just repeat the process. And then out of scrap paper, I make these funnels to use for the beads, and then I just tape them. Pretty simple. And then I fill it with my beads, and then I push it through. Once you finish the feet, you have to stop at the last foot before stitching the rest up. And then with the paintbrush, I push the beads through because it is kind of a small space, so you have to kind of make sure it all gets in there and you get it firm. And then you're just going to close it up. And then the beads are kind of spilling out, but it doesn't really matter. And here's the base done. I am going to work on the limbs and ears next. And now we're working on the ears. I'm just going to sew it through one of the edges. I'm not going to sew it all the way around. I'm going to leave some space towards the curved part
because that's going to be used to kind of give it more shape. And once I'm done, I take my time pinning it in place, and I'm just going to go slowly to show you how I sew the ears in. I'm going to repeat this process with the other ear too. After hiding the stitch in the nose, I work on the arms, which I have to make sure are reverse, so opposite sides, so that I'm not sewing the same arms on, which would look very goofy. And I'm just looping it, going all the way through, just like before. And once I get here, I'm gonna hide the thread in the back of the arm because no one's gonna see it. Once I have both arms made, I pin them in place, and then I sew them in place. It's pretty simple. I just do the similar stitch to the ear. It's kind of like a running stitch, but not really. Just try to go in a circle so you can get it really secure. I like to hide the stitch in the arm once I'm done, like underneath, so that it's difficult to see, and then it's fairly hidden. And now the tail. I normally do not pin the tail when I sew it, but I'm just going to show you where it would be a good spot to pin it if you need it to be more secure while you're sewing. Doing the same thing over again. I like to kind of make the stitches tighter so it gives it more of a curve, to make it look more flowy and less 2D. And once you have it basically done, you're just going to pull it through the back and then pin it to the back, where it's going to hide all of the stitches and knots that you made to secure the thread. Doing a similar technique to what you did with the arms. And there is that done. Now we're going to work on the eyes, which I like to use a thinner and longer needle. This one is old, so it's getting a little rusty, which is kind of gross, but it's what I have on me. The beads are really small, so you have to get a very thin needle. I pull it through, and then This part is a little hard. You have to see where you are going to be like at the starting point of the eye and then the end point, and you're trying to get it as symmetrical to the other side as possible, which can be pretty difficult. And then you're gonna knot it in the nose, since that's
and
about
now
to be
using
hidden. The hot glue gun, we're going to attach the nose. If you don't have a hot glue gun, you definitely can sew it. I just don't like the look of the thread with the nose because it is a thin, like, small area. So I just like to hot glue it. It's also easier. You're just gonna do a tiny amount. I kind of did too much with that one, so don't do that much. You're gonna push it, make sure it's secure, keep pushing it, move it around while it's still warm. And then you're gonna do the sides just to make sure it's secure and it's not just ready to be pulled out. And here's the mouse complete. There's a lot you can do with it to change it up. Right now I would attach a string to it to make it look a little nicer and just tie it if you don't have all of this extra stuff. But here I am making the clown accessories. Just using the piece of ribbon, I'm hot gluing it down, going all around the neck, getting it as secure as possible, cutting off all the extras. And with a longer piece of felt, I'm going to just hot glue that and go around the collar as well. I just think this adds a cute touch. You don't really need to do it, but it just looks cuter in my opinion. And once that's all the way around, just hot gluing it into place, cutting off the extras. And now I'm attaching the bow, which can be replaced by anything really. You can add another pom-pom, you can add a ribbon, you can add literally anything. Some buttons would be cute, a star would be nice as well. And now onto the hat. I'm gonna make it with a shape kind of like this. I did not make a pattern for it because it was kind of on the go. You're gonna just roll it up and then hot glue it, trying to get the hot glue as hidden as possible because this isn't gonna be hidden at all. And just trying to get it super neat. And then that's done. You're gonna trim all of the extras. And then with a piece of felt similar size to the previous one that you had around the collar, you're just gonna attach it to the bottom. It looks a little goofy, but putting the hat on your finger actually helps a lot when placing it. Just be careful because it's hot glue. And then I'm just going around. And my phone stopped filming, so I already attached the pom-pom just with hot glue to the top of the hat, and then with hot glue I am just attaching it to the mouse. Fairly simple. And that is how to make this little guy. You can change it up completely. I mean, you can change it, the colors, accessories, you can add stuff onto the design right here. You do whatever. I ended up not using some of the stuff that I showed, and of course it's optional. But yeah, here's how you make a little mouse. I hope you guys like watching, and if you guys do this, please tag me because I would love to see how you made it. Please do not sell these guys though, because I'm not really comfortable with that. This is just a free pattern. I want you guys to create it for yourself or friends. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty dang cute.